Jeffy has been arrested, grounded, even sent to Juvie. But believe it or not, he's actually only been expelled from school 3 times. And each expulsion somehow gets even crazier than the last. One started because of St. Patrick's Day prank. Another happened because Jeffy literally built a functioning machine gun in woodshop. And the final one wasn't even because he did anything wrong. So today we're looking at every single time Jeffy was expelled from school. The first time Jeffy gets expelled is honestly one of the funniest because it's all caused by something incredibly stupid. It all starts on St. Patrick's Day. Jackie Chu tells everyone that if they aren't wearing green, they're allowed to get pinched. Seems harmless enough until a bully decides Jeffy is the perfect target. Bully walks over and pinches Jeffy. And if you watch SML for long enough, you already know Jeffy isn't exactly the type to walk away from a fight. Instead, the classroom instantly turns into chaos. Jeffy starts throwing punches, Bully fights back, desks are flying everywhere, and Jackie Chu has had enough. He immediately breaks up the fight and tells Jeffy he's expelled. The funniest part is Jeffy doesn't even know what expelled means. He hears excelled. So while everyone else realizes he got kicked out of school, Jeffy is celebrating because he thinks he got some type of award. Honestly, that's probably the most Jeffy reaction imaginable. But things only get worse once Marvin finds out. Instead of this being a one-time incident, Jackie Chu reveals that this was Jeffy's 15th fight this week. Not month, not year, week. At that point, it's honestly impressive Jeffy even made it that long before getting expelled. Then the episode somehow manages to get even crazier. Brooklyn guy shows up to explain that Bully's family is pressing charges, so Jeffy isn't expelled anymore. He's placed under permanent house arrest with an experimental ankle bracelet that will literally explode if he even leaves the house. Because apparently that's a totally normal punishment in the SML universe. Of course, Billy eventually comes back to Jeffy's house looking for another fight. Jeffy runs outside. The bracelet explodes, and everyone thinks Jeffy has just died. Only for it to be revealed, Jeffy secretly switched the bracelet onto Bully Bill. Since Bill is the one who got blown up, the charges disappear, the expulsion gets reversed, and Jeffy is allowed back in school by the end of the episode. So somehow, Jeffy managed to get expelled, put under house arrest, faked his own death, and got back into school in the one episode. That's honestly peak SML. You'd think after everything that happened, Jeffy would have learned his lesson, but he did not, because the next expulsion is somehow even more ridiculous. This time, Jeffy isn't expelled from fighting. He's expelled because of arts and crafts. The class is given one simple woodshop assignment. Everyone is building normal projects, birdhouses, wooden decorations, basic stuff. Even Cody gets an A+. But Jeffy decides instead of making something normal, he's going to build a fully functioning machine gun. Somehow, only Jeffy could turn a middle school woodshop project into a federal crime. The second the Brooklyn guy sees it, Jeffy is immediately arrested, and Jackie Chu doesn't waste any time expelling him. This time, Marvin is beyond disappointed because Jeffy has officially crossed into an entirely different level of stupidity. Luckily, Jeffy is given one final chance. Instead of going straight to jail, he has to attend a special one-day juvie class. If he passes, he gets to go back to school. If he fails, he's going to jail. It's honestly one of the more creative SML plots because instead of Jeffy causing nonstop chaos, the episode actually makes him work toward earning another chance. Brooklyn guy teaches the class about manners, making good decisions, and staying out of trouble. Then he fakes choking on a sandwich. While every other kid just watches, Jeffy is somehow the only student who actually helps, which means Jeffy passes. Everyone else fails, and they all get sent to jail instead. It's one of those rare moments when Jeffy accidentally does something right for once. Everything works out until literally seconds later, Brooklyn guy remembers that Jeffy put an axe in Bully Bill's head earlier that same day. So before Jeffy can enjoy graduating from juvie, he's arrested again, and essentially expelled again. It's one of the funniest ending twists SML has ever done because Jeffy's redemption lasts about 30 seconds before it completely falls apart. By now, you'd probably think Jeffy had been kicked out for good, but years later, he'd be expelled one final time. Except this wasn't even his fault. Unlike the first 2 expulsions, this one has absolutely nothing to do with fightings, weapons, or being arrested. Instead, Jeffy gets expelled because he's simply told he is too old to be attending elementary school. That's actually the official reason. The running joke throughout SML history is that Jeffy keeps on getting older, but somehow he's sitting in Jackie Chu's classroom with everyone else. Eventually, the school finally decides enough is enough. Jeffy has aged out, so they officially expel him. But if you thought Jeffy was going to accept that, you're forgetting who we're talking about. Instead, he sneaks right back into school and pretends to be a substitute teacher, and somehow convinces the class that he's actually in charge. His version of teaching mostly involves beating up Bully, and doing completely random impressions. It lasts exactly as well as you'd expect it before the real substitute teacher catches him. Then Principal Steinbeck gets involved, and Jeffy's fake teaching career ends almost immediately. What's interesting about this in one episode, though, is that SML doesn't really stick with it. Even though Jeffy is officially expelled for being too old, he shows back up at the school in multiple episodes later anyways. The SML wiki even points this out because it creates a pretty obvious continuity problem. Maybe the school changes his mind, maybe those episodes happen early in the timeline, or maybe, like most things in SML, you're just not supposed to think about it that hard. So throughout the entire history of SML, Jeffy has only been expelled 3 times. Once for fighting, once for building an actual machine gun, and once for simply just existing for too long. Honestly, I'm surprised the number isn't closer to 30. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe and let me know, what SML list should I cover next?